One of the skills that distinguishes human from every other living thing is emotional intelligence. This emotional intelligence that we're talking about is otherwise known as emotional quotient. According to research, people with higher emotional intelligence tend to perform better at job, they are more innovative, and have higher job satisfaction. This emotional intelligence has to do with the ability of understanding your own emotion and that of others, and ability to regulate and manage your emotions very well. So this skill is seen as a skill that distinguishes high performing, successful, accomplished professionals from others. And that is why it is one of the skills that is believed to be very essential. Thank you for visiting Log TV channel. Kindly watch this video to the end, like, comment and subscribe, and turn the notification on so that when we upload more amazing videos like this, you can see them in real time. According to the literature, there are like 4 to 5 components of emotional intelligence. The first is self-awareness. The first thing to becoming an emotionally intelligent professional is to have a mastery of self-understanding, to understand yourself, know the type of person you are, like have a perfect understanding of how you are likely to react to certain situation. So this understanding of the type of person you are, the type of temperament you have, the type of things you are likely to do in certain situation are what sets you out, are one of the core requirements of an emotionally intelligent person. The second component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation. Having understand the type of person you are, having understand how you are likely to react in certain situation will help you to now manage your reaction, like your emotions in those situations. You know that okay, if someone speak to you in certain way, this is what you are likely to respond with. You have known that through at the self-awareness stage. Now it's now comes to the self-management stage. It's now for you to now think that okay, this way I'm like this is the way I'm likely to respond if someone do this to me. You now to understand and hold on and control and manage the way you are going to react, like, and take charge of your impulse in your reaction. The third component of emotional intelligence is social awareness or empathy, understanding others. Like, imagine yourself in, there's some situation you've not been and there's some situation you can never be, but your ability to understand people in that situation and be able to put yourself in that situation and be able to tailor your judgment to in such a way that feels like you are in that situation are things that constitute the social awareness or empathy skill. The last component of emotional intelligence is social skill, and that is now the process of now managing people of different emotion, of different temperament successfully. So the conglomerate of this thing, if you can see so far, this component emphasizes you and others. So emotional intelligence starts from you when it before it now goes to others. Your ability to understand yourself, your ability to manage yourself in critical situation, your ability to understand others, your ability to imagine yourself in others' shoe, in others' perspective, and manage them successfully are what emotional intelligence encompasses. This skill is very important and very critical for professionals because of the fact that human beings are emotional beings. Human beings make decisions based on emotion, and that is one of those things that distinguishes them from every other living thing, and even the fast rising demi-human, which is the artificial intelligence. So mastering this skill will place you ahead of any other thing competing with human presence. So maximizing yourself as human being is becoming a master of emotional intelligence. To improve your emotional intelligence, there are quite a number of things that you can do. The first thing that is central to becoming an emotionally intelligent person is to become self-aware. Knowing yourself is very central to becoming an emotionally intelligent person. Understand your emotion, understand things that you are likely to do in certain situations and all that goes a long way. The second thing is to recognize how others feel. There's some situation you are not in, but ability to now imagine yourself, to now bury yourself in that situation and have a feel of that how people feel goes a long way. It helps you to earn people trust. Another way to improve to become an emotionally intelligent person is to listen actively. Listening is very central to a lot of activities. So your ability to listen, not because you want to respond, but because you want to understand, your ability to pay attention to all the gestures in the process of listening will help you to know what that person is actually going through and what they are trying to communicate. And by this, you can be able to have a better understanding of their perspective and to be able to intervene in the right way. Communicate clearly. So if you are able to listen actively and understand for the purpose of understanding others and seeing their perspective, you are going to be able to communicate clearly your own point of view as well. And communicate for the purpose of passing information, not for the purpose of passing emotion or passing aggression. So communicate for the purpose of passing information. That is the thing that lost in a lot of communication, and that is why you need to make it very central in your communication. Another thing is to stay positive for everything, for every situation, for everything that is coming on your desk. Always see it from the light perspective, from the light angle. This will help you to manage your emotion, and you are not going to be overreacting because you are seeing the positive side of a lot of things. Build empathy. How would you react in similar situation? So when you see people reacting some ways, don't just come up and start judging their reaction. Ask yourself, for every time you are going to be responding to someone's way of doing things, the first thing is to first of all pause and think that how would you react in that similar situation. Always have that question at the back of your mind before responding to a lot of things. Be open-minded. Understand the fact that there are people, everybody have the opportunity of thinking the way they chose, and they can have a perspective that is different from yours. Your ability to being open-minded has to do with you calming down and listening to these people's perspective, these people's point of view. Understanding these people's point of view will help you to see reasons in what they're saying. Listen to feedback. One of the way to grow to become an emotionally intelligent person is to listen to feedback from others. So you can know how others feel, you can know what others think by talking to them, by listening actively to them. But one of the most veritable way of knowing how other people feel is through feedback. So pay attention to feedback and leverage it to gain understanding of others and to improve in your own self-awareness as well. Practice mindfulness. That has to do with calming down in stress situation, calming yourself down in whatever the situation is with. Try and be mindful and ensure you are calm at all times. This will help you to take control of any negative emotion that you are likely to respond with at this critical stage. Other practical guides that can help you to improve your emotional intelligence is, first of all, starting a journal to track your emotions. At the end of every day, go back and document things that happen and how you respond to it. So when you write it down, this happened today, this was what I did. So now go back and think, is that the ideal thing for you to do? If it is not the ideal thing, write it in the third column what you ought to have done instead of that thing you did. So keeping the track of this thing will help you to understand your own emotion and what you ought to have done. The second thing is regularly reflecting on your action and interaction afterward. So after having a conversation with someone, after having a discussion with someone, always go back and reflect. What are the things that you done well in the interaction with that person? What are the things that you ought to improve on? This will help you to gain a big knowledge about yourself and about areas where you need to improve. So, and documenting this, you know that, in your conversation with someone today, you did this, which you ought not to do. By the next time you're having a similar conversation again, that thing is, you are going to remember that your mistake from the previous conversation and give you the opportunity now to avoid the same mistake in this current one. Another practical exercise is deep breathing exercise. For every tense situation, for every situation that is stressing you, always try and take a deep breath. Taking this breath will help you to calm your nerve, and will help you to breathe in fresh air and think in other ways. Taking a pause. Another way is by taking a pause. Before ordinarily when something happens, there are some impulse response that we want to follow it. But taking a pause will help you to now think about the ideal. It will help you to move from impulse response to the rational response. So always put on the habit of taking a pause. Some scholars said when something happens before you respond, read 1 to 60. Within that frame, you are going to be able to, in the process of doing that, you are going to be able to come up with a different response other than what you have done ordinarily without taking a pause. Another practical guide is by volunteering and relating with people from the vulnerable group. There's some things you cannot know how it feels until you have an idea of it, and that is one of the ways in which you can become an emotionally intelligent person. There are several books you can read as well that can help you to become an emotionally intelligent person. Daniel Goleman is one of the popular authors that has written a lot about emotional intelligence, and his book are some of the masterpieces when it comes to emotional intelligence and mastering it. One of his books, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Matters Than IQ, is one of the books you can look out for. Emotional Intelligence 2.0, another book by Travis Bradbury that you can check out for. Working with emotional intelligence is another book from Daniel Goleman. Emotional Intelligence, a 21-day step-by-step guide by David Clark, is another book on emotional intelligence that you can check out for. And last but not the least, Emotional Agility by Susan David. So these are books on emotional intelligence that can help you to improve on your emotional intelligence. Remember, emotional intelligence is one of the skills that distinguishes you from the robot. Focus on developing it, building it, and leveraging it for your professional success.